On this episode of Amber's Secret Features, I sit down with a young lady who has the courage of 1,000 lions, and you just have to meet her. An entrepreneur, a beauty guru, and a force to be reckoned with. Rashida Banks sits down with me and talks about what it means to live life simply and beautifully. Stay tuned.
So tell me about your Emancipation Day, January 12th, 2017.
What an awesome
Your
day.
journey to becoming an entrepreneur. What did you experience?
What an awesome day. I was kind of afraid in the morning. When I first woke up, I kind of was like, oh my gosh, this is my last time, going to work. I loved my team. I used to work for the government. I loved my team.
And what did you do?
I was a information systems specialist. Okay. So I worked in systems. I'm really good at it. But just because you're good at it doesn't mean that you should stay in it. So it was really hard because my team was like my family. Like literally, I would hang out with them even outside of work. So whether that might be putting on your makeup simply and practically, or creating a space that's simple and practical and livable and likable to you, that's what I like to show women, and that's what I do. That's what I inspire to do, just inspire women just to live a life that's beautiful to them.
Up next, more entrepreneurship tips and more ways to live a life of simplicity and beauty.
So I read on your website that it took some time for you to decide when to leave your full-time position. What advice would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur who is thinking about leaving their full-time position or their comfort zone to pursue their passions?
I would definitely say make sure you're being directed by God first, because you don't want to jump the gun too soon and you don't have enough grace to sustain you outside of your job. And so for me, I knew that I was going to leave. I just didn't know when. And I was just kind of waiting on God. And I remember praying and asking God, make it known, make it very clear when I'm supposed to leave. And nothing happened that day. It was November 1st when I decided to leave. Nothing happened that day. It was just like a feeling that came over me like, oh my gosh, I have to go. That first, it kind of comes from inside and then pushes out. So you kind of have to do some inside work before you start to live this quote unquote beautiful life that you've always wanted. I think that one of the main pieces to living a beautiful life is peace. I think that's across the board. So if you feel peaceful, if you're at peace when you come home, if you're at peace when you're at work, even though there might be chaos all around you, then you can for sure say that you are living a beautiful life. And anytime your character is about to be compromised, it's time to make a change so that you don't slip into being somebody that you don't want to be. Mm-hmm. And so my advice to anybody that's trying to leave is one, seek God first. Yep. And then two, watch how you're changing. Oh my goodness. So I always say that I'm an introvert and I'm a pretend extrovert. And it's so weird because you're a blogger and you have to meet people and, your energy really comes from, you get re-energized when you're by yourself, introverts mainly. And so most extroverts are energized when they meet people. And so it's just weird that that the job kind of chose me to be among people when I'm really an introvert, honestly. I prefer being alone in my house. Talking to you through the phone. So anytime I'm out, I do like the people. I am very excited to be around people, but it does drain me a bit because I'm an introvert.
So what are some other important lessons that you've learned as an entrepreneur at this point?
The most important lesson that I learned was that you should always do what sets your soul on fire. Because if you leave and try to do what you're good at, you're good at it, and you'll be good at it for some time, but you don't keep the consistency when maybe the excitement dies down, because the excitement is going to die down. I just love design. I grew up, I didn't know this. Well, my dad reminded me of it, that I used to draw out furniture. When it came down time for like Christmas, I would always be the one like, let's get the Christmas trees up, let's get the decorations up. Like, you're like that too, Mom? Like, I love design. Like, looking at magazines inspire me. I love magazines. I'm so sad like the print industry is like kind of plummeting a little bit, but I would love to help them bring that back up because I love design. I love fonts. I love graphics. I mean, look at where we are. I chose places that are nice because I like design. And so design really inspires me. But who inspires me? This person is actually from the Bible. I've never met them before, but Abraham, because God told him, like, pack up your bags, pack up your family, your cattle, all that stuff, and I'll tell you where to go. So that's like getting a U-Haul truck, your family in a U-Haul truck, and he's like, I'll tell you where to turn. And you're like, okay. Like, and to me, when I read that story, that was like mind blowing. When you finally, like, when you take that story and you put it in modern times, like, who does that? Who does that? But look how blessed he was. And so that was the inspiring story that kind of backed me when I was leaving my job.
With over 20,000 followers on Instagram, this beauty blogger has taken her brand to the next level. Keep watching to see exactly how she did that.
Do what sets your soul on fire.
Yeah.
Did you always know what set your soul on fire, or was it a process that you had to go through to understand what actually sets your soul on fire?
I think that I always knew that I loved interior design and home decor. I didn't think that it was something I was supposed to do as a business. Mm-hmm. And so, or just beauty. I didn't think I could do it for a business, you know. My parents always instilled in me, you know, be a doctor, a lawyer, or something of that nature in order to make like a really big name for yourself. And so I didn't think that was, I knew that I liked to do it, and I didn't think that it was something that I could do as a business. And so recently, like over the years, I would notice that people would always ask me to help them with their birthday parties, or if they bought a new apartment or got a new apartment or bought a new home, they would ask me like, oh, can you come, you know, home shopping with me, or makeup shopping with me, stuff like that. And so when you start to like kind of look at what people who don't know each other are asking you for, like the same exact thing, they're asking for the same exact thing, it's kind of indication as to what you're really, really good at. And then when you look at your spare time, all I'm doing is pinning. Like Pinterest, like literally is like my new entertainment. And so I noticed that I pinned a lot of beauty. I pinned a lot of home decor. And so recently, after I launched my business, well, my blog really, and my site went up a couple months ago, one of my friends, she was like, I like your quote on your website, but you're a person that likes to make things beautiful. Like, that's what you're good at, Rashida. Like, that's what we always call on you for. Like, you make things beautiful, and I think you should highlight that somewhere. And after she said that kind of set my mission for everything that I do, is the fact that you're right. I do. If I'm sending you a document, it's going to look cute. If I'm sending you an email, it's going to look cute. And so from that point on, that friend reminded me that I like to make things beautiful, and that's really what my purpose is to help others realize that you can live beautifully as well. I am most peaceful in my home. Like I've been married for almost 4 years, and we don't watch TV. The TV is like never on, so we kind of like enjoy each other. We have built up really like great communication with each other, and so my most peaceful place is at my home. And I think that sometimes that's not other people's peaceful place, and I can understand that, you know, due to like other circumstances going on within your home. And so with that, I not only talk about makeup or talk about building a beautiful space, but also building like a beautiful space in you.
What about the financial portion of it?
Ugh.
Being an entrepreneur. So when you're about to leave your job, or you're thinking, oh, this 9-to-5 life is not for me, When do you leave as far as the financial aspect is concerned? Do you wait until you have enough saved, or is it like, God is telling me to go, so it doesn't matter if I have $100 or $1,000, I gotta go?
So I was the latter. Like I said, I decided to leave on November 1st, and I left on January 12th, so that wasn't a lot of time. Then you have Christmas in between that and Thanksgiving, like all the holidays that require money in between all of that. And so we didn't really have any time to save anything large. And so I think that the question is, for me, twofold. Some people, God is requiring them to have a plan for whatever reason, requiring them to have savings, requiring them to make sure that they have all their ducks in order. Maybe because they have more responsibility. We don't have any children, so it might have been different if we had children. I don't know, but for us, he was like, "It's time to go," and we were just like, "Okay, are you sure?" And so I always. During this time period, I know you didn't ask this question, but my faith has kind of grown because I don't know if you read, but sometimes we get miraculous checks in the mail. It's so...
I receive it in the net. Oh, God!
Your tribe, the people that are in your corner, like, you should always have somebody in your tribe that I would say is ahead of you in a sense.
In your tribe.
Yeah.
Tell us what that means, in your tribe.
So I have a group of women that I look to, honestly, for advice, for encouragement, to push me, to challenge me. And they don't always concede to everything that I might say. And you need those type of people in your life. You need people that are...
to check you.
Yes. You don't want yes men or yes women always in your life. And so these are the friends that I can count on. If I tell them an idea and they're like, or they might, try to pivot it in a different direction, but I know that I can get sound advice from them and that they're coming from a really good place, and I can also take the feedback. Because you have to when you're an entrepreneur, you should definitely be in a position to receive feedback and not
criticism.
Be sensitive about it.
Yep. What's another important lesson that you've learned as an entrepreneur?
I learned that pivoting is essential. It's really vital, in my opinion, to the heartbeat of your business, because sometimes we get so wrapped up in I built this house, I built this thing, and it's not working. Mm-hmm. And so you're so bent on the fact that you took this time to build it, and you're wasting more time trying to figure out how to make this thing work. And I think that if you learn to pivot and kind of leave things and move on to really what we were talking about earlier, about what sets your soul on fire, that's golden. It'll help you progress more. It will help you be more successful. So for me, I had built this platform of beauty. And I still love beauty, and I'm still going to talk about beauty. But what really I want to do is do home decor. I love it. Not to be an interior designer, but just to impart to other people different DIY stuff. It's what I think about all day long. And so I think for me, when I finally came to that realization, I felt a little bit sad, because I'm like, man, I spent all this time building a platform based on just only beauty. Mm-hmm. And now I want to talk about home decor. So I'm hoping that my audience, whom I love so much, would concede and be like, great, like, we want to hear about your home decor as well, too. And so those are some of the things I know that people would feel when they start to pivot, like, with the audience that I built, follow along.
For those who don't know where to find you, mm-hmm. Tell us your website, your social media handles. Where can we find you?
You can find me at RashidaBanks.com. That is my blog site. That is my website. That's where I write most of my blog posts. That's where you can find ways to work with me. You can also find me on Instagram at Rashida.Banks. That's where I reside the most. I update daily. Check out my Insta stories for sure. And you can also find me on Pinterest.com/RashidaBanks. That's where I have all of my inspirational designs and face designs and home designs. Find me on Pinterest.com/RashidaBanks. What I want to give to my audience is the fact that living a beautiful life is attainable. Having flawless makeup is attainable. Having a beautiful space is attainable.